Welcome back, MTG Joe here. Today we are going to take a look at some day one deck lists that are doing well or show some promise in Final Fantasy's release. So the set came out yesterday, very small sample size. Most of the MTGO leagues only got maybe like an hour or two, and it just card acquisition's harder there than in MTG Arena. So this is a collection of some streamer decks, some just community decks, stuff of that nature, what I could piece together from MTGO. All that said, we will be back with actual stats, full kind of league data from MTGO, standard events, as well as laddered win rates that we have. So actual quantifiable stats for both standard best of one and best of three in the coming days as soon as it's made available to us. If you are cautious, if you are unsure about wildcards, hold off. The first week or so, as meta is going to settle, we're going to see some things ebbs and flows as people are trying stuff out. People are brewing, people are getting smashed by Prowess with their 9-drops, but we'll kind of take a look. So all that said, these aren't going to be the best decks that you'll ever see finalized versions. They are to give you ideas. So keep that in mind. We can only go off some small sample sizes in that. So I'll paste and timestamp all these. Some are best of three, some are best of one. I'll indicate in the video description for which format they are, and we'll kind of go from there. From a quick kind of breakdown for just the day's popularity from Platinum to Mythic rank of best of three, Izzet Prowess is 20%, Demir midrange is 10, Mono Red is 7. So we're just seeing kind of like the stockish list. People are acquiring cards, people are playing. Myself, like I spent all day yesterday drafting, as opposed to playing constructed, just kind of building up some cards there. But we'll jump into it, and I'll shout out folks when needed. And we're going to start off with Flesh Eating Gnome, a streamer on Twitch. They went 10-1 with this Abzan Yuna deck. So this is something I was watching they were playing. So it's a self-mill Enchantments Matter deck. So kind of a domain element, but you're not using Zur. Instead, you're using Yuna, Hope of Spara. 5 mana, 3/5. During your turn, it and enchantment creatures you control have trample, lifelink, and ward 2. So kind of akin to Zur in some of its text. At the beginning of your end step, you get to reanimate an enchantment from your graveyard. It comes in with a finality counter. So the concept of this deck is to mill yourself over and then cheat into play, summon Knights of the Round, a 3/3 indestructible that each turn for 4 turns makes 3 2/2 Knights and then gives them a big power boost. And then summon Bahamut, 9 mana, 9/9 flying, destroys something for 2 turns, draws 2 cards, and then deals a bunch of damage. So this creature deals damage equal to the total mana value of other permanents you control to each opponent. So just kind of kills them if it gets to that point. But chances are your 9/9 is going to kill them on its own. It's working in terms of putting cards into your graveyard with Overlord of the Baelmark. You have Bitter Triumph that can loot. The summon or the Esper Origins surveils, gains you life, and then can be played from your graveyard for flashback, giving you that value, give you some card advantage, some ramp as well. Resentful Revelations, kind of an anticipate style effect. Couple beans, summon Fenrir as a way to kind of ramp up your Overlord of the Hauntwoods, and then Cruelty of Gix is a cool one here because it could reanimate Yuna, and then it's something that can also be brought back. It's hand-hate, it can be tutoring, so some versatility in terms of that. Leyline Bindings. Bezos for the aggressive decks, Tranquil Furlback, Graveyard Hate, Artifact Enchantment Hate, High Noon for Prowess, Heritage Reclamation, Flexible Removal, Ghost Vacuum for Graveyard Hate, Cut Down, and Authority for kind of the aggressively oriented decks. Moving on. So this one here from Wolfram, they went 7-0, so Platinum rank, but still 7-0, gives you kind of an idea. This is a Abzan kind of, actually Mardu. Or what am I looking at? Boros. No, Mardu. Sorry. On this view, it's kind of hard to see. Nurturing Pixie, your Optimistic Scavenger. You have Cloud in here. You get to search your library for an equipment, put it into your hand. Then as long as Cloud is equipped, if an ability of Cloud or an equipment attached triggers, that ability triggers an additional time. You have Sun Pearl Karen, so your Pixie Bounce. Then you also have Summon Birnhilder. I don't know what some of these words are, so apologies. Basically, mode 1 lets you play cards off the top of your library for the turn. You get the exile card, you can put it on. And then when you cast the next spell, it gains haste on the turn. So some card advantage, you can pick it up and then rebuy it over and over again. Chainsaw is basically an equipment that can be tutored from the cloud that can be used as removal. You have Quarry Steel, you have Hex Gold Halberd. So for Marauding, 2 mana comes into play and you get a creature token, and then the creature gets first strike on trample. And then Sword of Forge and Frontier, protection from red and green. You can play really any of the swords. There's a blue-black one as well if you want to protect against Dimir. Hopeless Nightmare, Momentum Breaker, Nowhere Run to kind of mix into that. Ghost Vacuum for Graveyard Hate, Authority for aggro, Dreams of Steel and Oils, Hand Hate, along with Duress, Grim Bauble for aggro, Destroy Evil for big things. So kind of the stock Mardu Pixie, but it's switching some of the enchantment stuff for a Cloud Quarry kind of package in there. This one here, 7 and 3 in Diamond Zapru. So this one here is a Raise the Past sack deck with Sephiroth, Fabled Soldier. 3 mana, 3/3, enters or attacks, sack creature if you do draw. Then it's got the Blood Artist effect, gain and drain. And then if it's a 4th time for the turn, you get to flip Sephiroth. And then you get an emblem. So you get an emblem of basically Blood Artist, and then whenever it attacks, you can sack any number of creatures if you do draw any mana cards. So it's kind of your win condition, your Blood Artist drain effect. So you have Elias Akor in here that can drain life. You have Bartholomew as a sack outlet, Amalia for card advantage, and then just kind of cheap interruption, things that die gain you life. And then when they die, you bring them back with Raise the Past for extra value. We have one of the new rare lands, so Adventure Lands comes into play tapped, but it does provide kind of a Deadly Dispute style effect for 3 mana, so a little overpriced, but gives you the flexibility of coming on a land as well. Sideboard's pretty stock, Graveyard Hate, Aggro Hate, cheap removal, Hand Hate, Destroy Evil for enchantment hate, and then Get Lost for flexible removal and enchantment hate. Alright, so I know you're thinking, Izzet's not strong enough. Let's give it an infinite combo to go with the Quarry Steel. So this deck here, so the Exiled is a streamer. Doomwake was playing this list. I saw Exiled during early access was also playing it. So the combination of Geralf, the Fleshwright, as well as Vivi Ornithir. So Vivi is kind of the combo piece. You put it under a Agatha's Soul Cauldron. This gives the ability of Vivi to any creature with a counter on it. So for 0 mana, you add X combination of red or blue, and you can only activate it once per turn. What you do with Geralf is Geralf, whenever you cast a spell during turn, other than the first one, you create a 2/2 blue zombie token, and then whenever a zombie enters a battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on it for each other zombie that entered. So basically what you do is you give Geralf the ability of the Agatha, the Vivi here, so then it can make mana, and then each of your zombies that come into play, so you cast spells, and then each zombie comes into play, it comes in with a counter, and then those subsequent zombies can each make mana because of the Agatha's Soul Cauldron. So you just kind of chain together spells. So you're using things like Opt, Torch Towers, like just a bunch of cheap removal, or like cantrip effects to fill your hand, kind of keep churning through your deck. You keep making more and more zombies that then keep creating more and more mana, and then you're basically able to eventually Bitter Reunion to give them haste, and then you just attack for the turn that way there. So you kind of kill them that way. Your backup plan is your Quarry Steel Cutter deck, so if they don't interact with the combo, you just kill them with kind of aggro stuff. Sideboard's just a bunch of interaction kind of mixed into there. There was another kind of update. So this was from one of the MTGO challenges. This was a top 4 list by Shadow Titan. A little bit different build of the Izzet Prowess deck. So we still have the Drake Hatchers, but 1 Thunder Trap Trainer, no Slick Shots, no Hearth Elemental, a little bit kind of more mid-rangey. We also see a copy of Astrologian's Planesphere. So another artifact equipment. So it has job select. When it comes to play, you get a 1/1 hero that this attaches to, and then whenever you cast a non-creature spell and whenever you draw your 3rd card for the turn, you get to put a 1/1 counter on it. So it just kind of scales and gets bigger. You can kind of throw the counters around. This is another thing that cares about casting a bunch of spells. This has this town. It has a Roaring Furnace in it. Full stock ups, so a little bit bigger. You see only one Monstrous Rage in this one, a little bit more interactive of a deck. That's kind of winning through Corey or the Astrologian. These were pretty cheap. I picked these up on paper for $3. Kind of hoping I didn't want to get burned again with my Corey steals where I had to pay when I didn't get them early enough. Enduring Curiosity for kind of the grindier matchups. You have some Rals in here, and then just a whole bunch of flexible removal. Unable to Screams here. There's also so this one deals with abilities, which is probably better. There's one from Final Fantasy that taps down as well. Gives kind of similar effect, but it doesn't get rid of abilities. So this one's probably still better since you want to get rid of something like Shieldred, for example. Alrighty, so we're at the best of one section. So this one's from Grave Filler. They went 19 and 6. With this deck here, it's an update on the Mono Black deck. They just recently got Mythic. So the big card for Mono Black, we have Demon Wall, 2 mana, 3/3 defender. Blocks really well. But the biggest thing with this, and if you couldn't tell by its name, but maybe check out its subtype, Demon Wall is a Demon Wall. And this demon plays beautifully in curve to Unholy Annex. So normally you would get the Unholy Annex and then you take 2 damage. Well, this now you drain your opponent and gain 2 life. So it kind of offsets that damage. We have full set of Cecil in here. Maybe a little bit too much, a little bit more of an aggressive card in a deck that's a little bit more mid-rangey. Cut downs, go for the throats, duress. This one's also on a full set of Leyline of the Void, just really not wanting to lose to Omni. We also see Jekt, Reluctant Guardian. So 4 mana, 4/3, deals combat damage. You can exile it, then return to the battlefield transformed. Opponents discard for the first 2 turns, you draw cards, and then each opponent sacrifices 2 creatures of their choice as a menace 7/7. And then Bloodletter for the Unstoppable Slasher combo. We also see a copy of Midgar, City of Mako. One thing with this list, very much stretching the boundaries of how many colorless lands we can play in our deck that's trying to cast Bloodletter. So you might want to revise that mana base. It's a little bit aggressive in terms of the number of colorless sources. So this one here from Kurozanu, they went 29-18. They can't beat Mono Red, but they're beating up Mono Black and some other ones. This is Simic Birds. Yes, Simic Birds. So we got Saza's Kokobo. So landfall comes to play. You get 1/1 counter on it. You have side quest Kokobo. Gives you another bird, similar effect with +1 power. And then at the beginning of your first main phase, if you control 4 or more birds, you transform it. Itself becomes another. It becomes Black Kokobo. You search your library for a land, put it into the battlefield, and then whenever a land enters, birds you control. So it's an anthem for all your birds. Goose Mother is a bird and a Hydra. It gives you some kind of virtual card advantage. Traveling Kokobo lets you play birds off the top as well as lands. And then you have Bart's Mboko, which costs 1 less for each bird you have, and then is basically a removal spell that kind of comes in. Doppelgang in here with your birds. You have Mockingbird that could copy some of your birds. Llanowar Elf for ramp. Floodmaw is kind of cheap bounce as well as Spell Pierce. A couple stock ups. One thing you could probably make do with, looks like it's somewhat budgety. Some more Floodmaws can be good. There's Secluded Courtyard if you want to do more kind of these Lord effects. I understand like the landfall with Fable Passage, but you probably still want some dual lands in here. So again, might be lower MMR. I think they came in at 97% or 98%, 97%. So they're still like reasonable, but little things you might want to consider there. Maybe fewer copies of Doppelgang in here, just given the like best of one tends to be more aggressive. And then lastly, just another best of one version of the Izzet Corey deck. So this one here, we see full set of Astrologians. This one's from K2O Cutes. They went, 25-13 with this one here. And we have Vivi in here just for kind of value plays, some Ren's Resolve. There's also the new instant from Final Fantasy that gives you some flexibility. Lets you play cards from exile for like exile 2s, kind of similar to Ren's Resolve, or give 2 creatures +2/0 each. But this one's doing a split. Draycatcher, Slick Shot, Show Off. Notably, no Swift Spear in this one. opting for a lot more 2-drops in this one. So keep that in mind as your kind of curve considerations. A lot of 2-mana threats. I would probably still play Swift Spear, to be honest. Just especially with stock up, stuff like that. More cheaper spells, the easier it is. Starting Town is probably a card you want to play in some numbers as well. That's it. Kind of early on look. Izzet is got a few more variations coming your way, but we'll keep this updated as soon as we start getting more stats. I can be doing videos more frequent for the next couple days as we start getting data to give folks some ideas in terms of deck lists and stuff for people itching to kind of start using wild cards and building decks of Final Fantasy. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you have a great one and stay safe out there.